Hey guys, Movie Fan 356 here, and today we're continuing Halloween Horror Month. And for those of you who've been following me for a while, you're going to notice something. The movie I'm going to be reviewing today is a movie that I already reviewed when it came out in theaters. I did a couple discussion videos where it would be me and like one or two other people discussing the film in detail, pretty much down to the minute. Um, you know, and yeah, we would just talk about it. It was movie discussion videos, and there was one on this one when it came out because I went to the midnight show when it came out because I worked at the theater at the time, and um, so. But this is just me reviewing it on my own. This isn't going to be a discussion where we talk about everything, tell some stories that kind of relate to the film. This is going to be an actual review. And since I'm doing James Wan movies for Halloween Horror Month, I figured I'd review this one and give you my thoughts on it again. And maybe, you know, uh, since it's been out for a year now, because it'll be all sunk in now, and I can tell you, if anything changed. The movie we're talking about today is The Conjuring. It's directed by Lee Winnell, and it's written by not Lee Winnell. I'll tell you that. Chad Hayes and Carrie Hayes. Chad Hayes and Carrie Hayes wrote this one. Basically, the plot of the movie it says based on the true case files of the Warrens, and a lot of times when they say based on a true story, it's like yeah, okay, whatever. It's not really that based on a true story all that much. And this one, it's based on a true story. Yeah, James Wan admittedly said, look, there was only two things in the movie that we exaggerated for the film. And everything else was the real deal because he worked heavily with the family, and he worked with Lorraine Warren, who investigated. So he knew what he was doing with this movie. He did his homework, and I gotta respect the guy for that. But the plot for The Conjuring is you meet Ed and Lorraine Warren. They're these paranormal investigators way back in the day, and this movie takes place in the 70s. But at the beginning of the movie, you see them kind of investigating this Annabelle doll story, this case, and that's what the Annabelle movie coming out, or is already out by the time you see this video. I don't know. But yeah, that's what that movie's gonna be about. It's a spinoff of this telling that story because we only saw like the ending of that story pretty much. So, um, they're these they're these paranormal investigators, and they meet this family, the parents. That's their names, right? I believe it is. Yeah, the parent. Yeah, the parents. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. I had a brain fart there for a second, but the parents who who moved into this house and they're experiencing heavy paranormal activity. So they call Ed and Lorraine Warren in, who's played by Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. Yes, Patrick Wilson enjoys making horror movies with James Wan. I ain't gonna complain. I like James Wan and I like Patrick Wilson, especially when they work together. So, yeah. They come in to investigate it, and that's basically the storyline of the movie. Now, what I think of The Conjuring is I love this film. This is one of the better horror films. This is one of the best horror. I'm willing to go on record and say it's one of the best horror films in the last 10 years. It is. This is a really good movie. The scare factor is awesome. I mean, yeah, it's predictable a couple times, but they really got me. If you watch my discussion video, I mentioned a couple times where they did get me. The first time I saw it, but not all that much, but just a few times. And I don't scare very easily, so when the movie can do that, it's automatically gets props for that. The actors playing the parents, they were okay. I think the dad was a little bit underused. The guy playing Roger Perrin, the father, I think they could have done a little bit more with him, but what he did, I thought was fine. His acting was good. Vera Farmiga, which I just have a crush on, yeah, she is beautiful, and she's such a great actress. I love Vera Farmiga. Let's see, who else can we talk about? Yeah, she's playing Lorraine Warren in the film. Which is really cool because she actually got to talk to the real Lorraine Warren for the movie. She was kind of overseeing the movie, kind of making sure everything was right. And so she worked heavily with her. She did her homework too, and I think it's really really good that they were able to do that. So the acting's fine. The scare factor is definitely there. The storyline is it. The thing is, they start off doing one thing, and then they go to a whole other storyline with the parents. There's a story with the Warrens and the story with the parents, and eventually those stories are gonna intersect with each other. And I like how they did that. At first, I wasn't sure about it when I first saw it in the theater, and it first was happening like that. I didn't know how I felt about it. I wasn't all that sold on it, but later on in the movie, I realized, you know what, that was a good idea. It feels real. It was real. At least, you know, most of it was. Like I said, James Wan said he only exaggerated two things for the film. I'm not exactly sure what those were, but yeah. So I trust James Wan in him saying that they only exaggerated like two things in the movie. Um, so, I mean, it felt real, and that's what I want out of a good horror film. I don't want it to get ridiculous, and so, especially with haunting movies. Those get really ridiculous sometimes, but this one is so well done. It's there's that emotion a few times. There's a few times where you're feeling for this family, and there's a particular scene with Vera Farmiga, and I'm just gonna call her Mama Perrin, and Carolyn was her name, Carolyn Perrin. Um, there's a particular scene involving those two there, and it's just dialogue, and I thought it was emotional. And uh, actually, there was two scenes. There was one scene, and there was one scene in the climax of the film during the exorcism, because yes, an exorcism does happen at the end of this movie. And the very end of the exorcism, when they're kind of exchanging that dialogue, going back to what they talked about earlier, it was emotional. So there was emotion in this movie. These are real characters. Like, you could actually, you know, relate to them. At least a couple of them, I think. Especially the Warrens. You can relate to the Warrens pretty well. And the great thing about the Warrens is they're not your average paranormal investigator. They don't really go to a house to say, oh yeah, you got this problem, you got this problem, you got this problem. This is our advice to you. They go into houses with the thought of, we're gonna go and debunk uh, their thought of it being haunted, because there's so many things that can happen in the house. You know, you got squeaky floors. You know, you got old pipes. You know, you got wind hitting something. They go in there to try to debunk it. I respect them for that. And rest in peace, the real Ed Warren. So because he's passed away. Lorraine Warren's still alive and kicking. So uh, yeah, The Conjuring, guys. I really like this movie. What am I gonna give this movie? I'm gonna give this movie an A+. I know I kind of give them out a lot, but that's kind of why I wanted to do this new rating system on a scale of 1 to 10. I didn't want to say 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 8, 10. You know, I didn't want to do that anymore. I'm like, it's easier to just go through a grade, because there's a little bit more range, I feel, in the grade system from an A+ to an F. And so I'm gonna give this film an A+. I absolutely loved it. What do you guys think of The Conjuring? Do you like this movie? What were some of your favorite scares in the film? Because there's a lot of memorable scares in this movie. Hide and clap. That's one of the best ones. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And are you guys planning on going to see Annabelle? I'm going to go see Annabelle. Not on the day it comes out. I'm going to wait a couple days until it's $5 movie day. Yeah, there's a day. Tuesdays are when we can go to our local theaters, and they have this deal. At a certain all day, $5 a ticket. So that's the day I'm going to go see Annabelle. I'm hearing not so good things about it, but whatever. I just want to have fun. I know it's not going to be as good as this, but who knows? It could be entertaining at least. Are you guys going to go see Annabelle? So, what do you guys think of The Conjuring? Let me know down in the comments below. That's all I can say for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, want to play hide and clap?